Good morning, students. Welcome to online classes of science by RPS Group of Schools. Today, we will discuss Module 4 of the chapter in your textbook called Reproduction in Plants. In this Module 4, we will learn about sexual reproduction in plants. We will learn about the reproductive organ of the plant, that is flower. We will study structure of flower and the types of flower in a plant. Sexual reproduction. Flowers are the reproductive part of a plant. Flower bear fruits and later fruits bear seeds. In most of the flowering plants, new plants come from the seeds. Seeds are produced as a result of the fusion of male and female reproductive cells called gametes. In sexual reproduction, a male cell is produced by the male part of a flower, which fuses with the female cell produced by the female part of the flower. The two male and female gametes fuse with one another, forming a single cell called zygote or oospore. Structure of the flower. Flower contain the plant's reproductive structures. A typical flower has four main parts or holes known as the calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Let's study about them one by one. Sepals. These are the small leaf-like parts growing at the base of the petals. They form the outermost hole of the flower. Collectively, sepals are known as the calyx. The main function of the calyx and its sepals is to protect the flower before it blossoms when it is in the bud stage. Peduncle. This is the stalk of the flower. Receptacle. It is that part of the flower to which the stalk is attached. It is small and found at the center of the base of the flower. This receptacle is also known as thalamus. Petals. The second hole is comprised of petals, usually brightly colored, collectively called the corolla. The number of sepals and petals varies depending on whether the plant is a monocot or dicot. In monocots, petals usually number 3 or multiples of 3, whereas in dicots, the number of petals is 4 or 5 or multiples of 4 and 5. Together, the calyx and corolla are known as perianth. Each flower has sepals which protect the flower in bud and petals which is a non-green and maybe with fragrance to attract the insects and others. The sepals and petals are the vegetative part of a flower and they function in assisting the process of reproduction. Let's talk about stamen. Stamen. This is the male reproductive organ and is also known as androecium. It consists of two parts, anther and filaments. The anther is a yellowish, sac-like structure involved in producing and storing the pollens. The filament is a slender thread-like object which functions by supporting the anther. The innermost hole is pistil, also called carpel. Pistil forms the female part of a flower. A collection of pistils together is called gynoecium. The innermost group of structures in the flower is the gynoecium or the female reproductive components. The carpel or pistil is the individual unit of the gynoecium and has a stigma, style, and ovary. A flower may have one or multiple pistil or carpel. Style is a long, slender stalk that holds the stigma. Once the pollen reaches the stigma, the style starts to become hollow and forms a tube called the pollen tube, which takes the pollen to the ovaries to enable fertilization. Stigma is found at the tip of the style. It forms the head of the pistil. The stigma contains a sticky substance catch pollen grains from different pollinators or those dispersed through the wind. They are responsible to begin the process of fertilization. Ovary. They form the base of the pistil. The ovary holds the ovules. Ovules. These are the egg cells of a flower. They are contained in the ovary. In the event of a favorable pollination where a compatible pollen reaches the stigma and eventually reaches the ovary to fuse with the ovules, this fertilized product forms the fruit and the ovules become the seeds of the fruit. Let's discuss the types of flower in a plant. Flowers can either be complete or incomplete. A complete flower consists of two different parts, vegetative part and reproductive part. Or we can say that a complete flower is the one that consists of sepals, petals, stamens, and pistil. Flowers that contain both an androecium and a gynoecium are called perfect or androgynous or hermaphrodites. On the contrary, an incomplete flower is the one that lacks one or more of these structures. There are two types of incomplete flowers. Staminate flowers contain only an androecium, whereas pistillate flowers have only a gynoecium. A good example is loofah. You can see in the picture male flower of loofah with 5 stamens projecting out. In another picture, you can see the female flower of loofah with tubular green ovary below, yellow petals, and stigma projecting out of the yellow corolla. Another type of flowers are monoecious and dioecious plants. If both male and female flowers are borne on the same plant, the species is called monoecious. Examples are corn and banana. Species with male and female flowers borne on separate plants are termed dioecious. Examples are papaya and cannabis. With this, we end up this module 4. Thank you.